Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum Podcast. My name is Trey. Oh no!
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum D&D Podcast. My name is Trey.
I am Rungwin.
And those of you here on YouTube will never know what just happened.
Sure.
We got more monsters to talk about. So just a quick aside, I went back through and added all of these to the playlist like they should have been originally.
Okay.
Because they weren't. And I retitled all of them. And I start every single one of them with that sentence.
Okay.
Which means when I make the supercut at the end of all the monsters, I have to cut that every time.
Yeah.
Except the first time.
Yeah.
But no, I decided to wear a camouflage shirt today because we're going to be talking about some sneaky, stealthy monsters tonight.
Okay. Whatever excuse you need not to do laundry, sir.
These things like to hide in the dark. Let me real quick hit one of these in the chat. There we go.
All right.
And we're starting off with the Nabasu.
Okay.
Now, the Nabasu is a insatiable fiend, a demon. Bananas.
Bananas. Hey, dark with the...
If they think, once the ads are over, oh boy. If they think they can kill something and consume its soul, they will attack it.
Okay.
Even if it's another demon, even if it's another Nabasu, they don't care. They just attack it.
Good you're here.
Glad to have you. So most other demons avoid them. However, if magic pulls a demon from the abyss to the material plane, Nabasus will try to get into that circle so they get summoned instead.
Okay.
So they can embark on a feast of souls.
Well, these are pleasant creatures.
Now, if you summon a Nabasu, you can provide it a steady supply of souls, and it might decide not to eat you.
That seems risky.
It is very risky.
Just saying.
Turn the souls into cookies. I mean, it might as well be cookies, honestly, at that point.
Yes.
At that point, they're as good as cookies. So these are CR 15, pretty high level. AC 18, hit points 190, and speed of 40, walking, flying 60.
Okay.
Cover a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Of course, they're fiends, so they're resistant to cold, fire, lightning, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical. It's in Mordenkainen, so they're immune to poison. And they can speak abyssal and telepathy up to 120 feet.
Okay.
They have some
Not
really
bad.
cool abilities.
All right.
Again, this is why I wore the camo shirt, because these things camouflage in the dark. They have demonic shadows. The Nabasu darkens the area around its body in a 10-foot radius. Non-magical light can't illuminate this area of dim light.
Okay.
So they're always hidden in shadow unless you have magical light, which I find very cool
Yeah.
and a little creepy. And Devour Soul is one of their abilities, which, a Nabasu can eat the soul of a creature it has killed within the last hour, provided the creature is neither a construct nor undead.
Yeah.
The devouring requires the Nabasu to be within 5 feet of the corpse for at least 10 minutes, after which it gains a number of hit dice, d8s, equal to half the creature's number of hit dice.
Okay.
Roll those dice and increase the Nabasu's hit points by the number rolled. For every 4 hit dice the Nabasu gains in this way, its attacks deal an extra 1d6 damage on a hit. The Nabasu retains these benefits for 6 days, and a creature devoured by a Nabasu can be restored to life only by a wish spell.
Wow.
So if it eats one of your friends...
Yeah. Roll a new character.
Right. And it has magic resistance. It has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects.
Yeah.
So, pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Incredible. I still want to tie cookies into it somehow.
Yes. It killed the baker that made the cookies.
Maybe.
So now it does cookie damage. It has multi-attack, of course. It's CR 15. It makes one bite, one claw, and it uses soul-stealing gaze. We'll get there.
Okay.
The bite is a plus 11 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 5d12 plus 6 necrotic.
Yeah.
The claw is plus 11 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 4d10 plus 6 force.
Okay.
So pretty solid, pretty good damage. Have to not only give it souls, we have to bake them into chocolate chip soul cookies.
That's what it is.
Yes. The soul-stealing gaze is a little special.
Should be.
It targets one creature it can see within 30 feet of it. If the target isn't a construct or an undead, it must succeed on a DC 16 Charisma saving throw or take 2d12 necrotic. The target's hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the necrotic damage dealt, and the Nabasu regains hit points equal to half that amount.
Not bad.
This reduction lasts until the target finishes a short or long rest, because it's necrotic damage.
Yeah.
The target dies if its hit point maximum is reduced to 0, and if the target's a humanoid, it immediately rises as a ghoul under the Nabasu's control.
So after you fight your way through the cookie cult,
Yep.
you have to face off against this thing.
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
Pretty
It's a
good for a
start.
first monster.
Good
Yeah.
start. Good start.
Next up, we have the Nagpa.
Ugh.
And I love these little things. They are like bird hags.
Wait a minute.
Yes. They are monstrosities. Long ago, the Raven Queen cursed a cabal of powerful wizards for meddling in a ritual that would have helped avert a war between the gods.
Wow.
So she transformed them into scarbarous bird-like creatures known as Nagpas, rendered them able to acquire new lore and magical power only from the ruins of fallen civilizations and great calamities. Now, do you remember in Flight of Dragons, Omadon, the evil black wizard
Yes.
that could turn into the large Hydra? It's like, you know how he was almost bird-like?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. He's hunched and nope, hunched with a bird head. These things are cool, and they're CR 17.
Dang.
So get hyped for a little wizard bird man. How is a Hydra bird like? Well, he's a bird like before he becomes the Hydra. But I mean,
Yes.
birds and lizards, you know,
Yeah.
more similar than you think.
Yeah.
AC 19
Sounds a hit.
for a little bird wizard. 203 hit points with a speed of 30 foot.
Nice.
It speaks common plus up to 5 other languages. It has multi-attack for 3 staff or deathly ray attacks,
Goodness.
and it can replace 1 attack with the use of spellcasting. The staff is a +8 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 2d6 plus 2 bludgeoning, plus 7d6 necrotic.
Yeah. There it is.
Bonk.
Yeah.
The Deathly Ray range spell attack, plus 12 to hit, range 120 feet, single target, 7d6 plus 6 necrotic.
Okay.
Ow.
Yeah.
And then the spellcasting, it uses Int as its spellcasting. The mod is a +6, and the spell save DC is 20.
Dang.
At will, detect magic, mage hand, message, and minor illusion.
Okay.
Twice a day each. Fireball, fly, hold person, suggestion, wall of fire. Once a day each. Dominate person, etherealness, and feeble mind.
So this means if I run a Dark Crystal campaign,
Yep.
these are the Skeksis.
Yep.
Okay.
Then it has 2 bonus actions.
Okay. Nice.
As if it already couldn't do enough. I feel like it should probably be CR 18, but it is. If you fight just one of these, your party will lock it down, but man, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
The first bonus action is Corruption. The Nagpa targets one creature it can see within 90 feet of it. The target must make a DC 20 Charisma saving throw. An evil creature makes the save with disadvantage. On a failed save, the target is charmed by the Nagpa until the start of the Nagpa's next turn. On a successful save, the target becomes immune to the Nagpa's corruption for the next 24 hours.
Goodness.
Just, hey, as a bonus action, charm.
Yeah. That's pretty nice.
And then Paralysis, which recharges on a 6. The Nagpa forces each creature within 30 feet of it to make a DC 20 Wisdom saving throw, excluding undead or constructs. On a failed save, a target is paralyzed for 1 minute. A
Oh.
paralyzed target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns,
Okay.
ending the effect on itself on a success.
Okay.
The Cleric's got a chance for that. And that's probably it. DC 20 Wisdom. That's going to be within 30 feet. Maybe the Ranger's in there, and he might have some good wisdom.
Yeah.
But other than that, oof.
Yeah. That's rough. It's your turn. Oh, you can't do anything.
Yep.
Roll.
Oh, you still can't do anything.
Yes.
No,
Now they beat you.
these are good boss monsters, I think. These first
Yeah.
2. Next up, we have the Narzugon, which also comes with like a special magic item. which they don't understand, like someone sexy like a Skeksis. I definitely wouldn't call a Nagpa sexy, personally.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
I am totally gonna pick up that phrase though.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sexy like a skit.
So, Narzagon are paladins who make deals with devils and carry their twisted sense of honor into the afterlife, and are then valuable to the archdukes of the Nine Hells. They are horrific perversions of knights errant, carrying out their master's will, and they wield
Okay.
special hell-forged lances that are known as infernal tacks.
So a shadow knight,
Yes.
dark knight. Yeah.
They also have a nightmare as a mount, and
That's cute.
the infernal tack is a special magic item that binds the nightmare to its rider.
Okay.
It consists of bridle, bit, rein, saddle, and stirrups, along with spurs that are worn by the rider, all part
Yeah.
of this same item, which is attuned to the Narzagon.
Okay.
It can only be attuned by a creature of evil alignment, the infernal tack. A nightmare equipped with infernal tack must serve whoever wears the spurs until the wearer dies or the tack's removed. You cannot win it over with animal handling. You can use an action to call a nightmare equipped with the infernal tack by clashing the spurs together or scraping them through blood.
Oh.
The nightmare appears at the start of your next turn within 20 feet of you. It acts as your ally and takes its turn on your initiative count. It remains for 1 day until you or it dies or until you dismiss it as an action. If it dies, it reforms in the Nine Hells within 24 hours, after which you can summon it again.
Yeah.
The tack doesn't conjure a nightmare. One must first be subdued so the tack can be placed on it. No nightmare accepts the forced servitude willingly, but some eventually form strong loyalties to their masters and become true partners in evil. So, very cool
Yeah.
that this monster gets a free magic item.
Yeah. Free nightmare.
Right, and a free nightmare. If I was a player in an evil campaign and we killed the guy that had these,
Oh man.
I'm taking them.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it is a legendary item, so
Yeah,
why
well, you're
wouldn't
gonna
I?
give. Yeah, and you're gonna give them an attunement slot.
So these things are stout. They're very strong. They once were a paladin.
Yeah.
They are of course fiends now, but the CR 13,
Okay.
so not too strong, but strong enough that you can use them as like infantry at higher levels
Yeah.
or like elites running around the battlefield. AC of 20,
Okay.
hit points 112, not too much HP.
No.
30 speed when they're on foot. Nightmare speed when they're on a nightmare.
Okay.
And the nightmare, of course, has a speed of 60 foot or fly 90. They are, of course, resistant to everything fiends are resistant to: acid, cold, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. And they're immune to fire, poison, being charmed, and being frightened.
Yeah.
They have telepathy to 120 feet and can speak common and infernal. Of course, they have the infernal attack, and they have magic resistance. They have multi-attack with 3 Hellfire Lance attacks. It also uses Infernal Command or Terrifying Command. It gets those for free after the 3 Hellfire Lances. This thing
Okay.
is strong.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Hellfire Lance is plus 10 to hit, reach 10 foot, single target, 1d12 plus 5 piercing, plus 3d10 fire.
Okay.
If this damage kills a creature with a soul, I know how much you love it when there's
Yeah.
extra stuff. If this damage kills a creature with a soul, the soul rises from the river Styx as a lemure in
Ooh.
Avernus in 1d4 hours. If the creature isn't revived before then, only a wish spell or killing the lemur and casting true resurrection on the creature's original body can restore it to life. Constructs and devils are immune to this effect, of course.
Yeah.
Then it can use Infernal Command. Each ally of the Narzagon within 60 feet of it can't be charmed or frightened until the end of the Narzagon's next turn.
Yeah.
Or Terrifying Command. Each creature within 60 feet of the Narzagon that isn't a fiend must succeed on a DC 17 Charisma saving throw or become frightened of the Narzagon for 1 minute. Creature can, of course, repeat the saving throw, ending the effect on a success.
All of a sudden, the warlock's standing there by himself.
Yep. And if you do succeed on this, you're immune to it for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then once a day, the Narzagon or one creature it touches regains 100 hit points.
Just like that.
Because it drops its healing. Because it was a paladin.
Yeah.
Lay on hands.
Yeah. 100 points, just like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it has 112 HP, but it functionally has 212 HP.
Yeah.
And the Nightmare on its own has 68 hit points, or functionally 168 if he chooses to heal it instead.
Yeah, but I don't hear any Cavalier abilities.
Right. It doesn't have anything special.
You're right.
It's just the lance. You know?
But yeah,
So.
it would be. He's almost dead. Oh no, he's not.
Yep. He goes.
Yeah, the Nightmare's really cool.
Yeah. This is a cool monster. Undead Horsies for the win.
Yeah.
Well, you know how much I love my bugs.
Yeah.
Next up is the Neogi. Yeah.
I figured this would come out in Spelljammer.
Yeah, you would have thought so. But I feel like they just added it here so that they would have it, right?
Okay.
Because it is like a spider with an eel's neck. So, very cool.
Okay.
It can poison the body and mind of its targets and can subjugate even beings that are physically superior. They dwell in far-flung locations of the material plane, as well as the astral plane and the ethereal plane.
Yeah.
They left their home their home world long ago, to conquer and devour creatures in other realms. And they dominated Umber Hulks and used them to build sleek, spidery ships capable of traversing the multiverse.
Yep.
They also have hatchlings, so we have three different stat blocks. The hatchling is CR 1/8.
Okay.
11 AC, 7 HP, 20-foot walking, 20-foot climbing. Has mental fortitude, has advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened, and magic can't put the Neogi to sleep. Has spider climb, of course. It can climb difficult surfaces, including upside down on ceilings without needing to make an ability check. And it has a pretty basic bite. +3 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d4 +1 piercing, +1d6 poison. And the target must succeed on a DC 10 con save, or become poisoned for a minute, repeating the saving throw, ending the effect on a success.
Okay.
Pretty solid for little hatchlings.
Yeah, and you're gonna have. I mean, there's gonna be 8 of them.
Right.
If you're using that low.
Right. Now, the adult versions are CR3,
Okay.
15 AC, 33 hit points, 30/30 for walk climb. And now they can understand language, common, deep speech, undercommon.
Yeah.
Spiders. Still have mental fortitude, still have spider climb. They now have multi-attack, 1 bite, 2 claws. The bite is now +5 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d6 +3 piercing, +4d6 poison.
Ooh.
And DC 12 con save, poison for a minute, repeat on a success, or repeat till you succeed.
Yeah.
The claw is +5 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 2d4 +3 slashing.
Okay.
And then as a bonus action, they can use Enslave, which recharges after a short or long rest. The Neogi targets one creature it can see within 30 feet of it. The target must succeed on a DC 14 Wisdom saving throw, or be magically charmed by the Neogi for 1 day, or until the Neogi dies or is more than 1 mile from the target. The charmed target obeys the Neogi's command and can't take reactions, and the Neogi and the target can communicate telepathically with each other at a distance of up to 1 mile. Whenever the charmed creature target takes damage, it can repeat the saving throw, ending the effect on itself. Retake on a success.
So if you're running this, especially if you're running an adult or the next step up,
Yep.
you wouldn't do that to an elf
Right.
or elvish type.
Right. Because they're not going to be charmed. Hey, well.
Hello. Hello.
Next
sir.
up is the Neogi Master. And we get a little blurb from Mordenkainen here. Only the malevolent or the desperate do business with Neogi. I generally advise against working with beings who view you as property or prey.
Yeah. That's safe.
So
Good call.
the Master is CR4, not much higher, right?
Yeah.
AC 15, hit point 71, speed 30/30, walk climb. Speaks languages are common, deep speech, undercommon with telepathy for 30 feet. Now has Devil's Sight, so magical darkness doesn't impede their dark vision.
Nope.
Still has mental fortitude, still has spider climb. The multi-attack is now 1 bite attack, 1 claw attack, or it makes 2 tentacle of Hadar attacks.
Dang.
The bite is still +5 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d6 +3 piercing, 4d6 poison, and still a DC 12 con save. The claw is still 2d4 +3 piercing. But now it gets Tentacle of Hadar, which is +6 to hit, range 120 feet, single target, 3d6 +4 necrotic, and the target can't take reactions until the end of the Neogi's next turn as a spectral tentacle clings to the target.
Okay.
It also now has spellcasting. Uses Charisma, which is a +4, and the spell save DC is 14. At will, Guidance, Mage Hand, Minor Illusion, Prestidigitation. And once a day each, Dimension Door, Hold Person, and Hunger of Hadar.
Pretty powerful.
Yep, and it still has Enslave.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty powerful. A lot of ways to change the battlefield with all the stuff it can do.
For sure. You run one of these with a couple of adults and maybe like 4 or 5 hatchlings too.
Yeah.
At higher level.
Yeah.
That's going to be a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
So hype for Grant. Yeah, Graham Gundam. Graham Gundam. There's a reason that's the thumbnail on that video. Next up, we have the Neothelid,
Okay.
which is a slime-covered worm of immense size. It's a result of a Mind Flayer reproductive cycle gone horribly wrong.
Oh.
When an illithid colony collapses, typically after an external assault, and the elder
Yeah.
brain is killed, the tadpoles are suddenly freed. They no longer serve as food and are no longer fed by their caretakers, so driven by hunger, they devour one another. And eventually, only one tadpole survives out of thousands, and it becomes a Neothelid.
Okay.
They just eat. They're just hungry.
Yeah.
If you've seen in Dark Souls 3 the giant sandworm of Karim, it is that, except with tentacles coming out of its mouth. So, imagine that. CR 13,
Okay.
AC 16, 232 hit points, speed 30 foot, no burrow speed.
Okay.
It's not that kind of worm.
Okay.
Creature sense is its ability. It has blind sight to 120 feet and a passive perception of 13, but it's aware of the presence of creatures within a mile of it that have an intelligence score of 4 or higher. It knows the distance and direction to each creature, as well as each creature's intelligence score, but can't sense anything else about it.
Okay.
A creature protected by a mind blank spell, a non-detection spell, or similar magic can't be perceived in this matter. I
Okay.
love this.
Yeah.
Moon Gundam does look very good. I love the idea of this predator that just knows you're there.
I like that it
because
uses
can
intelligence.
Feel you thinking.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It does have magical resistance, of course. Its action doesn't have multi-attack. Thank goodness. Tentacles. Plus 13 to hit at CR 13.
Yeah.
Reach 15 foot. Single target. 3d8 plus 3 bludgeoning plus 2d10 psychic. And if the
Ugh.
target's large or smaller, it must succeed on a DC 18 strength save or be swallowed by the Neothelid. Not
All right.
grabbed, swallowed.
Yeah.
The swallowed creature is blinded and restrained. It has total cover against attacks and other effects outside the Neothelid, and it takes 66 acid damage at the start of each of the Neothelid's turns. If the Neothelid takes 30 damage or more on a single turn from a creature inside it, the Neothelid must succeed on a DC 18 con save, which has a +5 to, by the way, at the end of that turn, or regurgitate all swallowed creatures, which fall prone in a space within 10 feet of the Neothelid. If the Neothelid dies, a swallowed creature is no longer restrained by it, can escape from the corpse by using 20 feet of movement, exiting prone.
Okay. Yeah.
It just gets to eat you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just-
They don't. There's only a couple creatures that do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's always good.
And then, because it's not done,
Okay.
it has Acid Breath, which recharges on a 5 or a 6. The Neothelid exhales acid in a 60-foot cone. Each creature in that area must make a DC 18 dex save, taking 10d6 acid damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. And then it has Psionic Spellcasting.
Okay.
Wisdom's the mod, which is a +3. Spell save DC 16. It can cast Levitate at will. And then once a day each, Confusion, Feeble Mind, and Telekinesis.
Oh man, if your confusion and feeble mind goes off,
Yep.
you're gonna have the whole group messed up.
I love this thing. This thing's great. This might be Monster of the Night for me.
Okay.
Just like a big frog. Moon Gundam does look really cool. I'm excited for the DLC. Next up is the Nightwalker. Not the Daywalker. It's not Blade.
And not the Night Stalker.
Not the Night Stalker. It's the
Okay.
Nightwalker.
All right.
And specifically, this thing comes from the negative plane.
Okay.
The negative plane, of course, being a place of death, anathema to all living things. But there are those who would tap into its spell power and its energy for sinister ends. Most individuals prove unequal to that task, and those not destroyed outright are sometimes pulled into the plane and replaced by Nightwalkers, terrifying undead creatures that devour all life they encounter. So these Nightwalkers are huge undead.
Okay.
CR
cool.
20,
Tough.
AC of just 14, but 337 hit points,
Yeah.
40-foot walking, 40-foot flying.
Okay.
Very fast. They're resistant to acid, cold, fire, lightning, thunder, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical. They're immune to necrotic and poison. They can't be exhausted, frightened, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, knocked prone, or restrained.
Okay. Now it's starting to add up.
It's hard to hit them,
Yeah.
even though their AC is so low.
Yeah.
They also have some crazy cool things going on. They have an annihilating aura. Any creature that starts its turn within 30 feet of the Nightwalker must succeed on a DC 21 con save or take 66 necrotic damage.
Thing's ugly.
Its AC's low, but you can't get next to it. Hard to hit them even though they're... Yeah.
Yes.
It's pretty crazy. And even if you do get in close to hit them, hey, guess what? 66 necrotic damage.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nightbot. You're a little bit late, but you're close this time. You're getting there. It also has Life Eater.
Okay.
A creature dies if it's... Welcome back. A creature dies if reduced to 0 hit points by the Nightwalker and can't be revived except by a wish spell. So you don't have to hit negative bloodied.
Yeah.
You hit 0, you don't get to roll death saves. You're just dead.
Yeah.
If you drop to 0 or below, you're just dead.
Man.
66 necrotic damage for being close to it,
Yeah.
which can't be healed. Then you have all these resistances that it's immune to, and then it can just kill you.
Well, even just the simple fact that you can't be knocked prone,
Yep.
you're taking out tactics from quite a few.
Yep.
Quite a few players.
Yep.
Or classes. At that
And
point.
it can't be grappled or restrained either.
Yeah.
So you can't do any of the things you would normally do there. You can't fireball this thing. I mean, you can, but it takes half damage.
Yeah.
And it's got 337 hit points.
Right.
Then it has multi-attack, 2 innervating focus attacks, one of which can be replaced by a Finger of Doom if available. We're going to get there. No, this is not Naruto. Innervating focus is a plus 12 to hit. Reach 15 foot, because this thing's huge. Single target, 5d8 plus 6 necrotic. The target must succeed on a DC 21 con save, or its hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the necrotic damage taken.
Man.
This reduction lasts until the target finishes a long rest. The target dies if its hit point maximum is reduced to 0. So just double the necrotic damage, basically.
Yeah.
Every time. Then Finger of Doom recharges on a 6. The Nightwalker points at one creature it can see within 300 feet of it. 300 feet.
Well,
The target must succeed on a DC 21 Wisdom save or take 6d12 necrotic damage and become frightened
Man.
until the end of the Nightwalker's next turn. While frightened in this way, the creature is also paralyzed. If a target saving throw is successful, the target's immune to the Finger of Doom for the next 24 hours.
man.
Just,
So you go hide your life, cleric, until
Yep.
the battle's over.
yep.
Man.
And when I say this thing's huge, I mean it is probably 5 times the size of a person.
Okay.
It is huge. It is just under gargantuan, right?
Okay.
So, yeah, this is a cool boss monster.
Yeah.
But, man, this is a final, like, last battle of the campaign fight.
Yeah.
Because people are gonna die.
Unless there's something in the campaign that counteracts that in a way.
Right. You need something that negates necrotic somehow.
Yeah.
Or just a lot of rangers. Just everybody's a ranger, and they're all back here.
Yeah.
Just, I'm out of your range.
Yeah.
So next up is the Nilbog.
Okay.
These are small fae, goblinoids.
Yeah.
Specifically, when Maglubeat conquered the goblin gods, a trickster deity was determined to get the last laugh. Although Maglubeat shattered the essence of the goblin gods, the trickster god survives in splintered forms as possessing spirits that cause disorder unless they're appeased.
Yeah.
Goblins don't have a name for this deity and dare not give it one,
Yeah.
lest Maglubiet use its name to ensnare and crush it as it did the other deities. They call the possessing spirit, as well as the goblins possessed by it, a Nilbog, which is goblin spelled backwards. And they revel in the chaos of Nilbog souls.
So you play it like you kind of play it like a gremlin. It's a gremlin.
Yep, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. The Nilbog itself is just an invisible spirit that possesses only goblins.
Okay.
While it's bereft of a host, the spirit has a flying speed of 30 feet. It can't be attacked, and it's immune to all damage and conditions. Acting on initiative count 20, the only action it can take is to attempt to possess a goblin within 5 feet of it. However, if a goblin is targeted by that spirit, it must succeed on a DC 15 charisma save or become possessed.
And goblins are super charismatic.
Right. But if the save succeeds, the spirit can't possess that goblin for 24 hours.
Mm.
You can end the possession with a spell like Hallow, Magic Circle, or Protection from Evil or Good, but it just then searches for another goblin to possess, and you can't kill it, so...
Yeah.
You know. It can also leave at any time if it wants to. Which means you could have a group of goblins that this thing is just hopping from.
Yeah, so... Is banish the only way to get rid of it?
I would suppose so, yeah. Or plane shift.
Plane shift, yeah.
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 Yeah, either one would get it away for a while. So it's not a high CR, but this thing could be really annoying to fight.
Yes.
CR 1. But again, you're going to have a group of goblins that it's jumping from. AC 13, hit point 7, speed 30, because it's just using a goblin stat block for the most part. You know? But it has Nilbogism. Any creature that attempts to damage the Nilbog must first succeed on a DC 12 charisma saving throw or be charmed till the end of the creature's next turn. Creature charmed in this way must use its action praising the Nilbog. The Nilbog can't regain hit points, including through magical healing, except through its reversal of fortune reaction, which we'll get to. When the Nilbog possesses a goblin, that goblin instantly gains the Nilbog's light pink clothes and the staff, the scepter, called the Fool's Scepter. The Fool's Scepter is a +4 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d6 +2 bludgeoning. It's not doing a lot of damage. It's not trying to. It's just trying to mess with you.
Yeah.
And then it can also use Mocking Word. The Nilbog targets one creature it can see within 60 feet of it. That target must succeed on a DC 12 Wisdom saving throw or take 2d4 psychic damage and have disadvantage on its next attack roll before the end of its next turn. It also has spellcasting. Charisma's the mod, which is a +2.
Yeah.
At will, it can cast Mage Hand and Tasha's Hideous Laughter at will.
Perfect.
It has a bonus action called Nimble Escape. The Nilbog takes the Disengage or Hide action because it's still a goblin.
Yeah.
And then its reaction, Reversal of Fortune, in response to another creature dealing damage to the Nilbog reduces the damage to 0 and regains 1d6 hit points.
Yeah.
This thing's like fighting Mitzelplex.
Yeah.
You don't want to fight it. You just want to leave.
Because even after you leave just a bloody path of dead goblins, you're still got this thing.
I love this.
Yeah.
This thing's great.
Kind of interesting creature.
Yeah. They don't make a lot of monsters like this in the Kobold Adventure, so
yeah,
I like just fun monsters.
Yeah.
Next up is something far less fun. It's the the Nuparibo. No soul is turned away. You just inside the entire race and you're fine. I mean,
yeah.
No soul is turned away from the 9 hells, but the truly worthless, those whose evil acts in life arose from carelessness and inaction, are suitable only to become Nuparibos.
Okay.
They shuffle across the landscape, driven to purposeful action only when the clouds of swarming vermin that surround them find them prey to destroy, or when a greater fiendish power commands it. Individually, they're weak, but they're rarely alone, and clouds of sturges and other vermin surround them in a terrifying reeking sheath that torments any non-devil that draws near.
Okay.
There's a little quote from Mordenkainen here that says, "A lemur emerges from the Styx wiped of memory, yet the patterns of evil it performed in life remain indelibly inscribed upon its soul. But those who lacked ambition cannot climb the hierarchical or ladder of the hells. They instead step down, becoming Nuparibos." Yeah, these things are grotesque in many ways. They are CR 1/2, because they themselves are not the problem, right?
Yeah.
It's what they're surrounded by,
Right.
which is the Sturge and Vermin. AC 13, hit points 11, and speed of 20 feet, because they're slow. Immune, of course, to fire and poison, resistant to acid and cold, can't be blinded, charmed, frightened, or poisoned. And they have blind sight to 20 feet, but they're completely blind past that. And they understand Infernal, but they can't speak. They are huge, or they're medium, I guess, but they are big sacks of meat with smoke pouring out of their pores.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea here.
So, Diablo monster.
Yeah. Yeah. Cloud of Vermin is their ability. Any creature other than a devil that starts its turn within 20 feet of one or more Nuperebos must succeed on a DC 11 con save or take 2d4 acid damage. A creature within the areas of 2 or more Nuperebo makes a saving throw with disadvantage.
Okay.
And then Driven Tracker. In the Nine Hells, the Nuperebo can flawlessly track any creature that has taken damage from any Nuperebo's Cloud of Vermin within the previous 24 hours.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool.
Get hunted down by one.
Yep. And then their attack is a bite. Plus 5 to hit. You don't want to get bit by one of these things.
No.
Plus 5 to hit. Reach 5 foot. Single target. 1d6 plus 3 piercing. But again, these aren't the danger. The danger is that there are Sturges following these that want to drink your blood. And probably have been drinking their blood.
It kind of seems like a cool encounter run, but it kind of seems like it'd be a tough encounter to run.
Yeah.
With everything you're going to be counting into it to make it.
Yeah.
To make it great.
I agree, because you're going to have a rat swarm. You're going to have Sturges and then probably 2 Nuperebos.
Yeah.
And trying to balance that Cloud of Vermin while also balancing the Cloud of Vermin.
Yeah, because if you don't run the Sturges right, this is not going to be a very interesting fight.
Right. They're just going to kill the Sturges and while it's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's an interesting one for sure. But think the boomer from Left 4 Dead. That's what these things kind of look like. So then we move into the O's.
Oh, right on.
And we're starting with the Oblex, or Oblexes.
Okay.
These are slime creatures that infest the depths of the Underdark. Mind Flayers created a special breed of ooze called the Oblex. Because, again, this book has a lot of Mind Flayer stuff and a lot of Fiend stuff and a lot of Devil stuff.
Can't you make that out of cornstarch?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably. An Oblex devours memories. Not only to sustain its existence, but also to spawn new Oblexes. Each time it fully drains the memories of a victim, it gains the creature's personality, now twisted by the Oblex's foul nature.
Ugh.
The more memories an Oblex steals, the larger it becomes, until it must shed a personality it has absorbed or else become uncontrolled and erratic. This act spawns a new Oblex. So cool. Newly formed ones lack the capabilities of their older kin, so we have multiple stat blocks here. They seek only to feed on memories and grow until they can impersonate their victims. So an Oblex spawn is what we start with here.
All right.
Small, tiny oozes. 13 AC, 18 hit points, 20 speed. Immune to being blinded, charmed, deafened, exhausted, or knocked prone. And they have blind sight for 60 feet and are completely blind beyond that radius. They have amorphous, so they can move through a space as narrow as 1 inch without squeezing.
Yeah.
They have aversion to fire. If the Oblex takes fire damage, it is disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the end of its next turn. Unusual nature. They don't have to sleep, but they absolutely need to eat your memories. And it's got Pseudopod as a weapon. Plus 5 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d4 plus 3 bludgeoning, plus 1d4 psychic.
Okay. It's a little... It runs like... you would run it like a standard ooze.
Yes.
But I'm trying to think of how I would incorporate the memory loss.
I think for these, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But when we get into the bigger ones, anything it's eaten, it can become.
Okay.
So we have a little blurb from Mordenkainen here for the adult one. Mind Flayers unleash all manner of foul experiments upon the planes with little thought for the consequences. Here, though, I suspect another influence, Dweeblex. Which, if you'll remember, Dweeblex, which we covered in the J's, is the fiend that is the ooze. And so Mordenkainen believes that he was an influence here.
Okay.
Because Dweeblex, if he eats you, can mimic your voice back.
Yeah.
from any bits of Dweeblix that have been sent out.
Yeah.
Whereas the Oblex, the image they use here is a skeleton and then a writhing mass that almost looks like a Shoggoth made out of slime,
Ugh.
connected to by tendrils the person that they ate a minute ago.
Okay.
So depending on how this is laid out, they just look like the person they ate,
Ugh.
which is really cool to me. And reminds me a lot of like the False Hydra, right?
Yeah.
So the adult one is a CR5. There's another version coming, don't worry. It's a boss variant. And I guess this one technically is a boss variant at low level. But CR5, AC 14, 75 hit points, speed of 20. Then it is immune to being blinded, charmed, deafened, exhausted, or knocked prone. And it has a +5 to deception, a +4 to perception, and then you get to choose between a +7 to arcana, a +7 to history, a +7 to nature, or a +7 to religion based on who it ate.
That makes sense.
So it can pretend to be basically anybody.
Yeah.
Still has amorphous, right?
Right.
Still has aversion to fire. Still has unusual nature. But now it has multi-attack, 2 pseudopod attacks, and it uses eat memories. Pseudopod is now +7 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 2d6 +4 bludgeoning, +2d6 psychic. And eat memories is very special. The Oblex targets one creature it can see within 5 feet. The target must succeed on a DC 15 wisdom save or take 48 psychic damage and become memory drained until it finishes a short or long rest or until it benefits from greater restoration or heal. Constructs, oozes, plants, and undead succeed on the save automatically. While memory drained, the target must roll a d4 and subtract the number rolled from its ability checks and attack rolls.
Yeah. Okay.
Each time the target's memory drained beyond the first, the dice size increases by 1.
Okay.
The d4 becomes a d6, d6 becomes a d8, so on, till it becomes a d20, at which point the target becomes unconscious for an hour and the effect ends. The Oblex learns all the languages a memory drained target knows and gains all its skill proficiency, which is so cool to me.
Yeah.
Then it has spell casting.
Okay. On top of all that. All right.
Yeah. It uses int, which is a +4 as the mod. Spell save DC is 15. 3 times a day each. Charm person as a 5th level spell. Detect thoughts and hypnotic pattern.
Okay.
Then it has a bonus action called sulfurous impersonation. The Oblex extrudes a piece of itself that assumes the appearance of one medium or smaller creature whose memories it has stolen. The simulacrum appears, feels, and sounds exactly like the creature it impersonates, though it smells faintly of sulfur. The Oblex can impersonate 1d4 plus 1 different creatures, each one tethered to its body by a strand of slime that can extend up to 120 feet away. The simulacrum is an extension of the Oblex, meaning that the Oblex occupies its space and the simulacrum's space simultaneously. The tether is immune to damage, but it is severed if there's no opening at least 1 inch wide between the Oblex and the simulacrum. Simulacrum disappears if the tether is severed.
Okay. Disturbing.
Yep.
Nice disturbing monster.
And then we get another blurb from Mordenkainen about the Elder. Because the Elder Oblex is a very special monster that some people might remember because it was originally Unearthed Arcana.
Okay.
The other 2 have been added in. They didn't exist when it was Unearthed Arcana. But the Elder Oblex is very disturbing. But Mordenkainen says, an Oblex wants memories, but not to serve any end of its own making. Oblexes are hungry for memories and personalities because they are empty without such nourishment. In this way, they serve their creators, Illithids. An Oblex in the range of an Elder Brain's power provides everything necessary for the Mind Flayers to find choice victims. The Elder Oblex is CR10.
Okay.
AC 16. This is a tough CR10 counter. I would probably put this at 11 or 12.
Oh.
16 AC, 115 hit points, speed of 20.
All right.
Still all the same immunities as before, but now it has +10 to Arcana, +8 to Deception, +10 to History, +10 to Nature, +5 to Perception, and +10 to Religion. It speaks Common +6 more languages.
Okay.
It has Amorphous, it has Aversion to Fire, it has Unusual Nature. It has multi-attack, 2 pseudopod attacks, and it uses to eat memories. The pseudopod is now +7 to hit, reach 10 foot, single target, 46 +3 bludgeoning, +46 psychic.
I was going to build
Eat
up.
memories. Yeah, definitely. Eat memories is still what you remember, still does the DC 18 Wisdom save, but now it's 8d10 psychic damage.
Golly.
Bam. Still needs to be within 5 feet, though. And it still has the same effect of the D4, D6, D20, 8, continuous.
Yeah.
It also still has psionics. Its int mod is now a +6, and now the DC is still 18. But at will, it can cast Charm Person as 5th level spell at will. And Detect Thoughts. And then 3 times a day each, Dimension Door, Dominate Person, Hypnotic Power, and Telekinesis. And the Elder Oblex can impersonate 2d6 plus 1 different creatures all at once up to 120 feet away from the core.
That's cool.
So this thing, if it's in the sewers of a city, can have people bringing it more things to eat, to give it more personalities, to spawn more Oblexes.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you have a
city of controlled people.
Yep. That have all been eaten.
This, not all of them, but man, so many through this feel real spelljammerish.
Yeah, for sure. They were setting up.
Yeah.
They were getting ready. I think we still have time. We might be able to finish the O's tonight, too. We got a lot. We got 4 ogres here, and then 3 more after that, but I think we can probably finish it.
Okay.
So these are ogres of war. They love to rush headlong into battle, but some of them instead will learn to carry out special missions. This first one is the Ogre Battering Ram. Exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
CR4, AC 11, hit point 76, speed of 40. Siege monster, it deals double damage to objects and structures, and it has multi-attack for 2 bash attacks, +6 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 2d10 plus 4 bludgeoning, and the ogre can push the target 5 feet away if the target's huge or smaller.
Okay.
And then as a reaction, it can block the path. When a creature enters the space within 5 feet of the ogre, it makes a bash attack against that creature. If the attack hits, the target speed is reduced to 0 till the start of the ogre's next turn. Free Sentinel.
Yeah.
Very nice. Next up is the Ogre Bolt Launcher that carries a gigantic crossbow.
Yeah.
It's basically a ballista. CR2, 13 AC, 59 HP, 40 speed. Because again, they're large giants. It has a fist attack, which is +6 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target. 2d4 plus 4 bludgeoning. Bam. And then the Bolt Launcher is +3 to hit, range 120, 480. 3d10 plus 1 piercing.
Okay.
Very nice. This next one is the Chain Brute. Wields a great spiked chain. CR3, 11 AC, 59 hit points, 40 speed. Still has the fist, which is exactly the same, but now it has a chain smash, which recharges on a 6. +6 to hit, reach 10 foot, single target. 2d8 plus 4 bludgeoning, and the target must succeed on a DC 14 con save, or be stunned for a minute. The target repeats the saving throw if it takes damage at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on success.
Okay.
Just bam. And then it has a chain sweep. Swings its chain, and each creature within 10 feet of it must make a DC 14 dex save. On a failed save, the creature takes 1d8 plus 4 bludgeoning and is knocked prone. Successful save takes half as much damage, isn't knocked prone.
Okay.
And then finally, the Ogre Howdah. It carries a palisaded wooden fort on its back.
All right.
This fort serves as a fighting platform for up to 4 small people. Ogre Howdahs are often seen bearing bow and spear-wielding goblins, or perhaps kobolds or deep gnomes, but they might also transport other small folk. I love this.
Well, I like the whole setup for them because you've got an army,
Yes.
so to speak.
Yes.
Different roles. And depending on the group, it's depending on what they'll take down first.
That's right. So these things are CR2,
Okay.
AC 15, 59 hit points, 40 speed, and it's got Howdah as an ability. It carries a compact fort on its back. Up to 4 small creatures can ride in the fort without squeezing. To make a melee attack against a target within 5 feet of the ogre, they must use spears or weapons with reach. Creatures in the fort have 3/4 cover against attacks and effects from outside it. If the ogre dies, creatures in the fort are placed in unoccupied spaces within 5 feet of the ogre.
Okay.
And the Howdah just has a fist attack. +6 to hit, reach 5 foot, 2d6 plus 4 bludgeoning.
Yeah.
Just, hey, his job is to get in there and soak up the damage while the archers above him and the spearmen above him take people out. They're fun. These are fun ogres.
I think so. I like the way they're set up. I like that you get different flavor for each one.
Yeah. You can run some of these with some of the bigger giants that we had before.
Yes.
These guys work for the ogre or work for the giants.
Yeah.
And you could have some fun stuff going there.
Yeah, and I like the fact you can throw 4 kobolds in the back.
Yeah. With little crossbows.
Yeah.
So next up, as if we can have fun for a minute, then we have to go back to the disturbing. Next up is the Oinoloth. These are specters of death. They solve thorny problems by killing everyone involved.
Oh, they're chaotic good.
No, they're medium fiends. They're typically hired as a last resort when a siege has gone on too long or an army has proven too strong to overcome. And once summoned, they stalk the killing field, poisoning the ground and sickening creatures they encounter. Sometimes they're hired to lift the plagues they spread, but the price they charge for that is so high, the effort normally turns the creatures they save into debilitated wrecks.
Oy.
So these are CR 12.
Okay.
AC 17, hit points 119, speed of 40. Resistant, of course, to cold, fire, lightning, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical. Immune to acid poison because they're fiends. Magic resistance. Multi-attack, 2 claw attacks, and it uses spellcasting or teleport. Claws of +8 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 3d6 plus 4 slashing, plus 4d10 necrotic.
Yeah.
It's a boss monster at CR 12.
Yeah.
Corrupted healing recharges on a 6. The Oinoloth touches one willing creature within 5 feet of it. Target regains all its hit points. In addition, the Oinoloth can end one disease on the target or remove one of the following conditions from it: blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned. The target then gains 1 level of exhaustion, and its hit point maximum is reduced by 2d6. This reduction can be removed only by a wish spell or by casting Greater Restoration on the target 3 times.
Golly.
Within the same hour. The target dies if its hit point maximum is reduced to 0. It does need to be a willing creature,
Yeah.
but oof.
It's a weird thing to do.
It is. It is. Hey, I'm going to heal the boss with this thing, but it's going to give it a level of exhaustion and give it a HP reduction.
Yeah.
Then it has spellcasting. Charisma's the mod, which is a +4. Spell save DC 16. At will, it can cast darkness, detect magic, dispel magic, hold monster, and invisibility on itself only. And once a day each, it can cast Feeble Mind and Globe of Invulnerability.
Yes.
Then it has teleport, which of course teleports 60 feet, anything it's wearing, normal teleport.
Yeah.
And then as a bonus action, it can use Bringer of Plagues, which recharges on a 5 or a 6. The Oinoloth blights the area in a 30-foot radius sphere centered on itself. The blight lasts for 24 hours. You heal it with it 4 times to kill it with exhaustion. I mean, you could. The blight lasts for 24 hours. While the area is blighted, all normal plants there wither and die. Furthermore, when a creature moves into the blighted area or starts its turn there, that creature must make a DC 16 con save. On a failed save, it takes 46 poison damage and is poisoned. Successful save, it's immune to Bringer Plagues for the next 24 hours. The poison creature can't regain hit points.
Yeah.
After every 24 hours that elapse, the poison creature can repeat the saving throw. On a failed save, the creature's hit point maximum is reduced by 5 or 1d10. This reduction lasts until the poison ends, and the target dies if its hit point maximum is reduced to 0. Poison ends after the creature successfully saves against it 3 times.
It's a pretty rough creature. You know, it makes me want to do like a Bloody Mary thing with it.
Yep. Yeah.
That would be really cool.
I agree. This thing just shows up when summoned and messes with you. So that's the Oinoloth. Next up, we have a big guy.
Okay.
This is Orcus. I'm sure you remember him, the Demon Prince of Undeath, the Blood Lord.
Yeah.
He rewards those who spread death in his name by giving them a portion of his power. The least of these become ghouls or undead, serve his legions. His favorite servants are cultists and necromancers. Orcus is a CR 26.
Oh God.
This is epic campaign stuff. 17 natural armor, 20 with the Wand of Orcus. If you give him that, which is his magic item that he's always had in previous editions. The Wand of Orcus, of course, being a mace that requires attunement. It's very good. Just for anybody who doesn't know, any creature besides Orcus that tries to attune to it must make a DC 17 con save. And on a successful save, they only take 10d6 necrotic damage. On a failed save, they die and become a zombie.
Yeah.
So, this is a good magic item for Orcus. He is, of course, resistant to cold, fire, and lightning, and immune to necrotic, poison, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. It's not magical. He can't be charmed, exhausted, frightened, or poisoned. He has true sight for 120 feet, and he can speak all languages with a telepathy of 120 feet.
Okay.
3 legendary resistances. He has magic resistance, and he has Master of Undeath. Orcus can cast Animate Dead at will and create undead 3 times a day. He chooses the level at which the spells are cast, and the creature created by them must remain under, or by him just remain, not must, under his control indefinitely. Additionally, he can cast Create Undead even when it isn't night. And special equipment, he wields the Wand of Orcus.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, just, hey, you're not fighting him alone.
Well, we don't have rules for 21 through 25.
Right.
Did 3.5 get those?
3.5 did have those, yeah.
Okay.
For high-level campaigns, as they call them.
Yeah, they eventually brought them out in 2nd edition, too. Maybe we'll be seeing that soon.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Because the current rules just say, yeah, reward them with magic items or reward them with
boons.
Boons.
Yeah.
But you need more than boons to be able to stand up to Orcus. He's got multi-attack for 3 Wand of Orcus attacks, tail, or necrotic bolt attacks. He can do any one of those 3. 3 wands, 3 tails, 3 necrotic bolts.
Okay.
The Wand of Orcus is a plus 19 to hit. Reach 10 foot. Single target. 3d8 plus 11 bludgeoning plus 2d12 necrotic.
Okay.
That
3
is
times.
3 times on average 37 damage, half of which you can't heal from.
Yeah.
The tail is plus 16 to hit, reach 10 foot, single target, 3d8 force plus 2d8 poison. And necrotic bolt is a plus 15 to hit, range 120, single target, 5d8 plus 7 necrotic.
That's weird. 5d8 plus
Bam,
7.
bam, bam. Yeah, it's a weird number.
What?
That's a really weird number. Then once a day, he can conjure undead. While holding the Wand of Orcus, he conjures undead creatures whose combined average hit points don't exceed 500.
Okay, well.
That would be silly.
Yeah.
These creatures magically rise up from the ground or otherwise form in unoccupied spaces within 300 feet of Orcus and obey his commands till they're destroyed or he dismisses them as an action. Then he's got spellcasting, because of course he does. Charisma is his mod, and it's a plus 7.
Golly.
Spell save DC is 23. At will, detect magic. 3 times a day, dispel magic. 1 time a day, time stop.
Oy. Man, well, he is CR26.
Yep. Then while he's holding the Wand of Orcus, he gets to cast spells from the Wand of Orcus.
Because, of course.
Right. Which have a spell save DC of 18. Some of these have charges. The wand has 7 charges to fuel these spells. And it retains 1d4 plus 3 charges daily at dawn. So it's getting at least 4 charges back every day.
Yeah.
At will, animate dead as an action. Blight. Just at will, blight. Speak with dead. 1 charge each, circle of death and finger of death. And 2 charges, power word kill.
I was sitting here going, might as well just give him power word kill.
Yep.
2 charges, power word kill.
Yep.
Yeah. If he gets you under 100 hit points. Yeah. God.
Then he has legendary actions, of course. 1 is an attack, costs 1 action. He makes 1 Tailor necrotic bolt attack.
Yeah.
Not the Wand of Orcus attack, just Tailor bolt. And then Creeping Death costs 2. He chooses a point on the ground that he can see within 100 feet of him. A cylinder of swirling necrotic energy, 60 feet tall and 10-foot radius, rises from the point and lasts until the end of his next turn. Creatures in that area have vulnerability to necrotic damage.
Oh, that's
Double
funny.
necrotic.
Creeping Death in an old Metallica song.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Then he's got lair actions.
Yeah.
Deadly Utterance. His voice booms through the lair. His utterance causes 1 creature of his choice to be subjected to power word kill. He needn't see the creature, but must be aware that the individual is in his lair. Your party comes in with a wizard that somehow rolled really poorly and has 96 hit points at level 20 and is instantly killed.
Yeah, or just get, you get a couple scraps before you get to him. And then,
Kill.
yeah.
Grasp of the Dead. He causes skeletal arms to rise from an area on the ground in a 20-foot square that he can see. They last till the next initiative count 20.
Yeah.
Each creature in that area where the arms appear must succeed on a DC 23 strength save or be restrained until the arms disappear or until Orcus releases them.
Yeah.
Then Undead Servants. Orcus causes up to 6 corpses within the lair to raise the skeletons, zombies, or ghouls. These undead obey his telepathic commands, which can reach anywhere in the lair. The regional effects are not quite as bad, though. It's going to be okay. The Charnel Realm. The air is filled with the stench of rotting flesh, and buzzing flies grow thick within the region. Undead Beasts. Dead beasts periodically animate as undead mockeries of their former selves. Skeleton and zombie versions of local wildlife are commonly seen in the area.
There you go.
And then his cultists also give some cool stuff.
Right?
Undying Soul, which recharges after short or long rest. If this creature is reduced to 0 hit points, it immediately makes a DC 10 con save. If it succeeds, it's instead reduced to 1 hit point.
That's not a very high save.
Not a very high save. They're gonna make that. At least one of them is making that every fight. Probably most of them. And then Aura of Death. This creature emanates a deathly aura that extends 30 feet in every direction from its space while it isn't incapacitated. The aura is blocked by total cover. While in this aura, the creature and any friendly undead are immune to the frightened condition and have resistance to radiant damage. Enemies have disadvantage on death saving throws while in the aura.
Man.
Orcus is strong.
He is. Well, I'm honestly sitting here thinking, okay, that's 6 20th level characters.
Yep.
And it's a dangerous fight still.
Yep. That's a good fight.
Yeah.
That's a good fight. I think Orcus is probably my favorite of the way they've designed these boss demons so far.
Yeah. I mean, everything's definitely getting stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
That's what you put against players you hate.
Yes.
Try to kill him. Go ahead. Try to kill him. This is what you put in the murder hobo's way. They run into Orcus,
Yeah.
and if they attack him, it's like, okay.
Well, yeah, you don't. I do this. It is resistant. Does no damage.
It's only weakness as long as it's alive. It's not
Yeah.
weak to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally for tonight, we have the Orthon.
Okay.
The Orthon is an Archduke of the Nine Hells. Basically, they're trackers. The Archdukes will call upon the Orthons to go. Yeah, it
Yes.
is.
Yes.
The Archdukes will call upon the Orthons to go find things that have worked against them. They're infernal bounty hunters,
Okay.
and they work exactly the way you think. They look like gray men with knoll necks or leonin necks, right? And then instead of a snout, there's a skull, and then 2 big tusks.
Ugh. Cool.
We're the infernal booty finders. I mean, look, if the Archduke wants that, I'm sure
Yeah.
the Orthon would go find it.
He can do that himself.
CR 10, AC 17, 105 hit points, 30 walking, 30 climbing.
Okay.
These things have a plus 10 to perception, a plus 11 to stealth, and a plus 10 to survival.
Okay.
They have resistance to all the things demons are resistant to, of course. You know, these are fiends, so they're devils.
Yeah.
Cold, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. Immune to fire and poison. Can't be charmed. Can't be exhausted. Can't be poisoned. They have dark vision 120, true sight 30, and a passive perception of 20. These are infernal rangers.
Yeah.
They have magic resistance, of course. They don't have multi-attack, but instead, they have a very cool set of attacks. They have an infernal dagger, which is a plus 10 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 2d4 plus 6 force, and the target must make a DC 17 con save, taking 4d10 poison on a failed save, half as much on a successful one. On a failure, the target is also poisoned for 1 minute. Poison target can repeat the saving throw in each turns, ending the effect on success. I understand.
The in the regular monster manual, yeah, just look up the incubus and succubus.
Yeah, that's
Give you
true.
a good start.
This is where things get cool, though, because the brass crossbow is a plus 7 to hit, range 100, 400,
Okay.
2d10 plus 3 force. The target also suffers one of the following effects of the Orthon's choice. The Orthon can't use the same effect 2 rounds in a row.
Okay.
The first one is acid. The target must make a DC 17 con save, taking 5d6 acid damage on a failed save, half as much damage on a successful one. Second one is blindness. Takes 1d10 radiant damage. In addition, the target and each creature within 20 feet of it must succeed on a DC 17 Dex save or be blinded till the end of the Orthon's next turn. Concussion. The target and each creature within 20 feet of it must make a DC 7 con save, taking 2d12 thunder damage on a failed save, half as much on a successful one. The fourth one is Entanglement. The target must succeed on a DC 17 Dex save or be restrained for an hour by strands of sticky webbing. The target can escape by taking an action to make a DC 17 Strength or Dex check and succeeding.
Okay.
The next one is Paralysis. The target takes 4d10 lightning damage and must succeed on a DC 17 con save or be paralyzed for a minute. The paralyzed target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turn, ending the effects on itself on its success. And the last one is Tracking. For the next 24 hours, the Orthon knows the direction and distance to the target as long as it's on the same plane of existence. If it's on a different plane, the Orthon knows which one, but not the exact location there.
So they got to get to that plane and then, which shouldn't be hard.
Right.
With the connections that the Orthon will have.
Right. And as if all that wasn't cool enough, as a bonus action, Invisibility Field reaches on a 4 to 6. The Orthon becomes invisible. Any equipment it wears or carries is also invisible as long as the equipment is on its person. The invisibility ends immediately after it makes an attack roll or is hit by an attack. And then as a reaction, Explosive Retribution. In response to dropping to 15 hit points or fewer, the Orthon explodes.
Yeah.
This is the Predator.
Yeah.
All other creatures within 30 feet of it must each make a DC 17 Dex save, taking 2d8 fire plus 2d8 thunder on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. The Orthon, its Infernal Dagger, and its Brass Crossbow are destroyed.
Okay.
So if you get this thing down to 15, it blows itself up so you can't take its stuff.
Yes.
I understand. I really like the idea of this thing being like a mix between the Predator and the Mandalorian, you know?
In a weird, yeah. Yeah. And having these things sent out to get you is a cool.
And
cool
the range on that
itself.
crossbow is really good. 100, 400. This thing could be invisible and just, you know? Don't like that it blows up. Well, that's the Predator thing, right?
Yeah.
You're about to kill me?
Doot. And now that was a thing in Dragonlance that was
that's true.
That was a Dragonlance thing.
Yeah.
The servants of Takesis, the Draconians will blow up on death, but they had different effects when we go through.
I think that's the goal. It doesn't want you to have its cool crossbow. I do think, though, if the players can stop it from blowing up, if they can successfully either stop it from blowing up or get that crossbow off of it before it explodes, I might let the players run this crossbow. With all the weird checks it's got.
Yeah.
It's very good. I would make them attune to it, but
yeah,
it would be cool to have the players able to be like, I'm going to use blindness on this one.
I'm going to shoot and blind it.
Yeah. Yeah, good luck taking that away from this guy when he's got a 22 strength and a 16 dex.
Yeah.
And a 21 con. And a 15 int and a 15 whiz and a 16 charisma.
Yeah.
Super rogue. Yeah, I guess so. But this guy has a passive perception of 20.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our O's. That's our N's and our O's.
Nice. Let's do both those.
Next week we'll start on the P's with Phoenix.
Okay.
And that's the only P. After that we'll go to Q with Quickling.
Okay, those
and
are
that's
cool.
That's the only Q. But after that we'll go to the R's for my favorite, the Red Cap. I love red caps.
Okay.
They're finally in 5e.
Okay.
Finally. Remember that you let me use a red cap as a summon on my druid, but I had to get you stats for it?
Yeah.
And then I had to go, hey, these are the 3/5 stats. It's not in 5e monster manual yet. And you were like, all right, it seems balanced enough. I'll let you use it. It's finally here. So now DMs don't have to do that. You can officially give your DM a red cap. Thank goodness. But yeah, there's only 3 R's and only 1 P and 1 Q. Okay. So almost without question, we will get through to the S's next week. But there's 2 different categories of S's, so.
Well, maybe we can get some of those done, too.
Yeah, get some of those done and then finish them off the next week. And then all we'll have left are the T's, the U's, and load for me page.
No.
The V's, the W's, the X's, the Y's, and the Z's. And there's not that many of any of those.
Yeah.
So I think we got maybe 3 weeks at the most left.
Okay, cool.
So.
Good deal. Good deal.
I'm loving this book. This book is great. What was your monster of the night?
I think it was the ogres, the whole set of them.
The ogres are very good.
I really like that. They're set up that you can... Yeah, you have a group of ogres, but they're all doing something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me it's the Nightwalker. Just the idea of, hey, this thing came from the negative plane.
Yeah.
And it's here to eat people. Not eat people as in eat people, but eat people as in you're around me, I'm going to sap the life from you. Is really cool to me.
Yeah.
Just that you...
One was either the...
explode or the ones whose weakness is not weak to his lung. Yeah. Yeah. Orcus or the Orthon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orcus excites me because it's such a high CR.
Yeah.
That it makes me wonder... Well, we talked about the power crit with the new stuff where you're getting feats at first level.
Yeah.
You know, starting things out. So maybe it wouldn't be that so bad.
That's true. Level. By the time you get there.
But if it's not that much off, what you're kind of shoot for, they just want to make it a little bit better. You know, that this might be a precursor to those upper levels.
Yeah. I could see a really interesting situation where you look at your group and go, hey, they just dropped this incredible boss monster. Let's roll level 20 characters and have a single session where we just fight Orcus.
Yeah.
And let's see how we do.
Yeah.
In the way that you used to do with, like, the Tomb of Horrors. Like, let's try that, you know? Killing ability, one of the prior ones. I mean, yeah, if you get him, you get him enough levels of exhaustion, even Orcus has to die, right? Or wait, he's immune to exhaustion, isn't he?
Yeah. But, yeah, you can murder Hobo. There's a couple of monsters in here that would murder Hobo. The murder Hobos very quickly.
He is not. He is immune to exhaustion. Okay, I was going to say he is not. He is. He is immune to exhaustion. But yeah, there's some cool stuff you can do. But next week, we'll be back talking about Phoenixes. Phoenix Eye?
I don't know. Phoenixes.
Let's go Phoenixes.
Yeah.
So he can heal himself. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Just, hey, here's 100 heal.
Yeah, the
Narthegon.
The knight, the Shadow Knight.
Boom. Yeah. Put 3 of those in there, and Orcus effectively has double the HP.
Basically.
Oh, that's great. So yeah, we'll be back next week with Phoenix and moving on from there. Tomorrow, we're painting Intercessors. We're going to finish those off.
Okay. And
then next Friday, we'll be doing the Jalhao Dun Tallgeese 3. And then level 20 folk fight against a couple of them when they all die. Yeah, that would be a cool way to do it. Your new campaign is to get revenge.
Yes.
Yeah, it's I showed it off on the Tuesday podcast. It's a SD Tallgeese 3 Xiao Dun version from Sengoku Suketsuden. And that'll be 2 weeks from now because tomorrow we're finishing the painting stream for the Assault Intercessors, or actually for the regular Intercessors.
Okay.
And then Monday, we'll be doing some leveling.
Yeah.
In Lotro. Tuesday, regular podcast. And next Thursday, of course, is the Phoenix.
All right. Sweet.
Thanks, everybody, for checking us out, as always. And until next time, I've been Trey.
I've been Rungren.
We've been the Full Spectrum D&D podcast. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum. The D&D has to